And then you're gonna give me one small pizza slice. There we go. That is beautiful. That should do the trick. And just come off that brake pedal. There we go. Let it do that for a minute. Tap the throttle. There we go. All right, guys. Remember earlier I said differentials receive power and they send it to the path of least resistance? Yeah, this is beautiful right here. Hold the brakes. Perfect. I talked about path of least resistance, right? Okay. Now we just witnessed this is called cross axling. So the differentials up front and in the rear are sending power to the wheels with the least amount of load. Obviously, the floating wheel here spins. The right rear is compressed, and that wheel is not spinning. Chantal, give me a little bit of throttle again so we can see that. So, spinning, and the other one's not spinning. On the front end, it's the opposite. That one's spinning, right? This one's not spinning, but we can hear this one over here spinning. This wheel, the suspension is what we call droop, right, or sag. It's just hanging out into a deep rut, and that wheel has light friction, but not enough to like bite and pull out of the terrain. So that wheel is just kind of spinning around in there. So right now, in theory, right, we are stuck. We're compromised, okay? We have a cool little wheel float here. No big deal. It's just a couple inches. All right, we can rock around all day. This is nothing. We'll do way bigger ones later. We'll like multiply that by like 5, maybe 10. Okay, we'll get it. We'll get it up there. That's when I start getting gray hair, so I'll let you know. But when we are compromised like that, when we feel our Bronco chugging and making those sounds, that means we have to do something to our differentials. What do? Lock it, right? Lock it up, lock it down. Now, when it comes to locking our differentials in Broncos, all of our Broncos today are Sasquatch equipped. Now, Sasquatch Broncos get, as a part of that package, front and rear lockers, but not all Broncos are Sasquatch, and not all Broncos have lockers. Outer banks often come without any lockers, right? I've seen plenty of Bronco owners come through that don't have lockers, or sometimes just have one, and if they do have one, they have the rear locker, okay? And here's why. Since we have both, using lockers, there are guidelines, there is an etiquette to it, okay? I'm big on mechanical sympathy, and of course, if we activated either one right now, it would work, it would get us unstuck, and we wouldn't have to think twice about it. But we want to take good care of these things. So I can relate that directly to being human. And if I asked you guys whether you do 50 squats or 50 pull-ups, what would you rather do? Squats. Okay, approved. Kaiser approved. Okay. Why not pull-ups?
Harder.
They're harder. Guess what happens when you use the front locker on a Bronco? It's using its arms to pull itself forward. All right, that's like the pull-up for a Bronco. But and that's because we have independent front suspension. I'll talk about that in a minute. But in the back here, we have a beautiful, beefy, solid rear axle, kind of like a femur in your leg, right? Strongest bone in the body. Same thing here. It's a Dana 44. Those things are built and engineered for abuse. So feed them, let them eat. We always, whenever we're stuck, we always default to the rear locker if we have to use one. And when we activate that rear locker, we can, any of the buttons up on that panel, we can activate any of those while we're rolling, but proper etiquette is you don't want to activate a locker if that wheel was spinning. So let's just say Chantel was like, nah, I'm gonna give her more throttle, and like Dukes of Hazzard this thing and just shoot out a bunch of debris out the back. That's bad. That's bad technique. All right, it might work, it might get her unstuck, but it's hard on the equipment. So what we would do is we would hit the brakes, and then we would reach up, tap that rear locker button. All right, Chantel, go ahead and lock up the rear. So picture your 4 wheels with that padlock at the back. And we kind of heard it activate that. Cool. On the screen in front of your steering wheel, it has a padlock at the rear axle in between the rear wheels. And that's just another visual confirmation, rear lock is on. Okay? So now, Chantel, give me gentle throttle. It'll spin for a split second and then I'll just walk you right out. There it is. Look at that. Oh yeah. Come on forward. Beautiful. And then hang tight right. Come on forward a little bit more. We're gonna hang tight with that right rear. Come on forward a little bit more. And right here. There we go. Beautiful. Good job. All right. So the rear locker worked. Cake, right? No big deal. Today, probably after lunch, we're gonna be getting onto trails where sometimes the rear locker isn't enough. All right, and when it's not enough, you still have another locker to use. So if the rear's ever activated and you're still stuck, then pair the front with it, okay? But with locker usage, we use them in feet, not miles, or like we use them in meters, not kilometers for you guys, okay? I'm gonna be so Canadian at the end of the day, eh? You know what I'm talking about. All right, so well, as you work your way through, once you're out of the obstacle, you're gonna turn off that rear locker. We turn everything off. We only use lockers when we need them, not any other time. Cool? Lastly, there are 2 ways to use lockers. What we just did here was reactive locker usage, okay? We got stuck, we felt it spinning, and we reacted by activating the locker. Now, Bronco 2 here, I'm still waiting on a name for you guys. Otherwise, it'll just be the Kaiser or something. That's a crazy name. Bronco 2 could have seen Bronco 1 in the real world and been like, wow, Chantel had to use a locker there. I'm just gonna turn mine on now just so I can walk through and be safe and not have any spins or issues. That's proactive. There are 2 types of drivers in this world. There's reactive and proactive, and it's all based on personality. Some people like to get as far as they can, Daryl, without using technology. Strike me as that type of dude, all right? And then other people are proactive. They just want to just play it safe, be cool, not have any spins, and just drive, right? No judgment either way. Just make sure if you get stuck, you don't just rip it, all right? You don't like to excavate dirt and sling it. So guys, that's lockers. Any questions? All right, cool.